like that shot for like 3 to 5 seconds. A good shot of the range. Stay with them. Stay with them.
Text Marshal. I have to say, first and foremost, it's an absolute honor and privilege for me to be here this evening. with the community. We're blessed tonight to have our Chief Blair Francis representing Eskisoni. And we also have with us Grand Chief of the Mi'kmaq Nation, Ben Sylliboy, Wapnalti'k. And we're also blessed on the third front to have our National Chief here with us, Mr. Fontaine of Manitoba. I thank those distinguished guests for being here with us this evening, and especially the National Chief. On many occasions throughout Atlantic Canada and Canada, I like to tell my brothers and sisters of Aboriginal descent where I come from. And to give you an official welcome, National Chief, welcome to the Big Apple of the Mi'kmaq Nation. We are the largest Mi'kmaq community in the world. Mi'kmaq is also our language, our first language, a gift from the Creator that we cherish. Our children and grandchildren speak the language today, and that tradition will continue on for generations to come. Tonight we come together to share the celebration, to celebrate the life of a dynamic individual who is one of the most cherished elders in our history as Mi'kmaq people. That's the late Sarah Denny. At this time, I'd like to thank Sarah Denny and her family for keeping sacred dance and song and everything that's associated with Mi'kmaq culture. Sarah kept our culture alive for many years at a time when we sometimes saw it as something we didn't want to reveal to the larger society. But I can say honestly, in my whole life, each time that I saw Sarah chanting and her family dancing, they did it with such pride that it kept honor in me my whole life. For that, I thank Sarah Denny and her family. Wapnalti'k Amalkaltik. On behalf of Chief Blair Francis, this building is dedicated to the memory of Sarah Denny. And at this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to read a passage, a poem, from someone that we are also blessed with, that we have in our community. That's Mrs. Rita Joe, who is world renowned for her poetry. Poem by Rita Joe, Ulnu and Indians were called. Sarah Denny, mother of Mi'kmaq culture. She is our culture, knowing all. From birth to end, the Christian song. She is Mi'kmaq, representing her call, pounding her drum in song, and the art in telling is her draw. She is our culture, knowing all. My friend Sarah, relating our knowledge, we stand tall. Thank you. Without further ado, at this time I'd like to call upon our beloved leader of Eskisoni, Chief Blair Francis.
Thank you, George. For when I was speaking, guys, it was going to be family. For age, what you like? For male like. Well, that's it. For male, people know what I don't know. I shall man, boy age kids to la can show what I pick man up later and the dela be no day can show out my on one do day working in I personally family these guys can log in and discourage and the above age all my life a best friend pretty well no page basically tank school game Mali no George a language all the way. So I'm studying with education field to all the way. Can't get daily field and join in part of life and drunk way with age. Only go. And I'm not being slide again. Anyway, especially in the night, so what to get them near last speech. So that I don't know which guy got glasses, nervous, and they say they lose. So they start talking in my speech. Elders, Grand Council members, National Chief Fontaine, community members, invited guests, and most of all Dance Symposium participants. Chilas, welcome. Once again, to the largest Mi'kmaq community in the world, I am very proud and honored to stand here today to pay tribute to Sarah Denny. I think we can all agree that Sarah, in her infinite wisdom, would definitely endorse the idea of a cultural center for our community. So it's only fitting that we name this great building in her honor. The community of Eskisoni is forever grateful to Sarah in the courage she demonstrated with protecting an essential part of our culture and heritage. I can remember when I was a young boy and being someone who was still searching for my true identity. You have to imagine that in that particular time to practice our ancestral traditions such as chanting and dancing was seen as embarrassing, even by our own people. Anyway, when I was a boy and feeling ashamed and embarrassed about dancing, like many of my friends, it was comforting to see Sarah Denny and her family chanting and dancing with such great pride and dignity. In essence, one can say that Sarah Denny was the keeper of that part of our culture. To Sarah and her family, I once again say a sincere Wapnalti'k. The Eskisoni Chief and Council is committed to ongoing development of this community center. And I would like to assure you that this building will continually be utilized by all our people. So please feel free to use it as needed. However, I would like to remind you that this facility is a substantial investment in our part of the band, and therefore requires us to keep it in excellent condition. I trust that everyone will respect the memory and the legacy of Sarah Denny, and to keep the building a safe environment. To National Chief Ben Sylliboy, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for being here with us at this milestone event. You being here with us today clearly demonstrates your genuine commitment to all First Nation people of our country. To the National Chief, I say a sincere Wapnalti'k. To the Dance Symposium participants and guests of our community, thank you for being here with us at this event. I am confident that when you leave Eskisoni, you will want to return, and that you will never forget us, as we will treasure your visit. And with that, I would like to read the inscription on this plaque, which will be placed in the entrance area of this building. Sarah Denny Memorial Cultural Center. This building is dedicated to the lifelong work of a strong Mi'kmaq woman, their struggles, triumphs, and dedicated to the advancement of our culture will forever live inside these walls. Wapnalti'k from Chief Blair Francis, Councillor John F. Tony, Councillor Gerald Francis, Councillor Beverly Francis, Councillor Alan Jeddore, Councillor Alton Bernard Jr., Councillor Barry Francis, Councillor Rose Marshall, Councillor Kyle Denny, Councillor Nelson Morris, and Rosie Bassett. So we'll give this to Joe Johnson, and she can put it up in the middle of the building here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief. At this time, I'd like to call upon our National Chief, Fontaine, to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Tex. Not that I know you intimately. You don't mind if I call you Tex. Chief Francis, Grand Chief, Reverend Father, elders, my friends, Dance Symposium participants. First of all, allow me to thank Chief Francis for making it possible for me to be present here this evening. I met Chief Francis for the first time in Edmonton during the elections for National Chief, and we were working the room pretty hard in Edmonton at the Shaw Convention Center. We knew that every vote was important, and as far as the Atlantic was concerned, Chief Francis's vote was probably the most important. And I remember a conversation I had with your chief, and he asked me he didn't ask me really. What he told me was, I will give you my vote if you make a commitment to be present for the special evening we were having. And this is this evening. I said, of course, you know. not really in full appreciation of what that might mean in terms of my schedule. So I wanted this vote, I wanted this support, and so I made the commitment. So here I am this evening. And this is actually the fifth First Nation community that I visited today. We started off with Shobi this morning. Went to onto Millbrook, Pictou, Afton, and Chief Morley Gogol's community, and now this one. So it's been a full day, but it's good to finish off what has been a very busy time for me with my presence here. I hope that being present here this evening will be taken as an expression of my commitment to being present in as many of our First Nation communities as I can make it. The election was just 2 months ago, and I visited close to 40 communities in that time, and so it's been a busy time. And we have to, of course, as you can well appreciate, we have to balance off my schedule with doing business in Ottawa, meeting with as many chiefs as possible, but most importantly, being present at many community events as I can be present at. And it's always good to participate at such important moments in the lives of our communities. I recognize that this is a very special evening here. The dedication of the Sarah Denny Cultural Center. I understand this is the grand opening, and we all recognize that some of the most important people in the life of our community, the First Nation community, are our elders. Our elders that know where we've been, and most importantly, understand and appreciate where we have to go. They represent everything that we are as a community and as a peoples. They know and understand our cultures. They speak our languages that represent everything that we are as First Nations people, as the First Peoples. Our values, our traditions, our cultures, our teachings, all of what is important in our community. Our elders represent that. And it's so very important as we go about our lives to celebrate as often as we can outstanding achievement. An outstanding achievement in our community is best expressed most often through our elders. And so I take what we have here this evening as an opportunity to celebrate achievement. And so I'm very, very thankful that I was given this very kind invitation by Chief Francis to be present here this evening, to be a small part of this wonderful moment in the life of Eskasoni. You will be witness this evening. I've checked your program here, and it's outstanding list of the most creative people in our community. We all appreciate that our songs and our dances express in a very significant way who we are as the First Peoples. And we will be given an opportunity, I'm sure, to witness this incredible creativity that exists in our community. We will witness the full expression of who we are as First Peoples, and most importantly, the participants that will dance and sing and play will of course express the incredible generosity that exists in our community. Generosity that means sharing, because that's what this is. The singing, the dancing, the playing of musical instruments is a sharing of a special gift that these people possess. And so I'm really thankful that I can be here to enjoy the music, the dances, the songs, but most importantly, the generosity of and the kindness of your company here this evening. So I thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to be here to help celebrate the grand opening of this very special building, and as I said, to be witness to a very special evening. Thank you so much. You bet.
About a week ago, and I was reminded today, someone here among us is having a birthday, and it's none other than our National Chief, Joe Fontaine. And it wouldn't be a birthday unless Eskasoni gave you a present. The gift I'm about to give you has special significance for our community. I mentioned earlier that we have one of the most world's renowned poets. This is Rita Joe. And her latest book is by Rita Joe, of course, and it's titled The Art of the Dreamers, Recent and Early Poetry. And I had the opportunity today to visit Mrs. Rita Joe, and I told her about this festivity. And I asked her if she would sign the book, and she did willingly And to that, I'm grateful to Mrs. Rita Joe. So we have this book for you. And also, she has a craft shop. I bought a craft for you. So on behalf of Chief Blair Francis and Council, the community of Eskisoni, we have these gifts for you.
Don't worry, I'm not going to give you another speech. I was reminded by my friend Cecil here, Cameron, that people are want to fall asleep when someone talks on forever. So I'm not going to talk on forever. I should have mentioned a special word of thanks and appreciation to Rita Joe. I know she's one of our outstanding artists in our community. She's written beautifully over the years, and she holds a special place in the hearts of many of our people. I also wanted to share one thought here, and I neglected that, and I would feel bad if I didn't mention this. Eskisoni holds a special place in my heart for a whole number of reasons, but one especially special reason. I enjoyed the music of one of your most talented people for years and years. And I remember there was a special event in Winnipeg, and I checked out the list of artists there, and I didn't see this gentleman's name there. I said, "Where's Lee Cremo?" I mean, he's one of the best fiddlers, a world-class fiddler. And I joined forces with my friend in front here, and we brought Lee Cremo out to Winnipeg and to have Lee, and this gentleman here to play for us. And boy, I thought I should mention the late Lee Cremo to you and how gifted this gentleman was, and all the pleasure he gave so many people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Master Chief. At this time, I'd like to call upon one of Sarah's children. Of course, she's not a child. She's also a dynamic woman, just like her mom. It's Milos. Let's call upon Milos for a presentation.
I just want to share with you something very special to us, and it was made by our first cousin, Madonna, and Madonna and I have been involved in making regalias for a number of years, and this year she was on her own a lot. Yeah, she made all the outfits for our dancers. She's very extremely creative person. And one day, when I was visiting her, she talked about wampums. And she told me that she wished she had wampums. And she didn't know where to get them. So I told her, I have them. And she said, go get them. That's the way Madonna is. Go get them now, do it now. So I dropped my tea and I went to get them. And I searched my house up and down until I found them. They're white beads and blue beads. So I took 2 bottles to her. And about 2 nights later, she calls me about 12 o'clock at night and tells me to come down. She always calls me about the time when I'm in bed and all that, and sometimes asleep. But that's when Madonna is. I don't know if she's in here right now. Yes, she is. She's in the back, waiting. So, she's been part of our family for a long, long time. She stayed at our household too when she was only an infant. And she was adopted by my uncle when she was about 3 weeks old. My mother was very upset to lose a child. Although she had a dozen already in the house, she just was upset to lose a child. But she still is like a member of the family. So when she calls me this particular night, she showed me what she had done with the wampums. And I was shocked. And this will indicate how very creative she is. This is what she showed me. This is a family wampum, a Denny family wampum. And I could not believe it. I could not believe my eyes because she had researched the symbols for man, woman, and child that are displayed on this wampum. And it tells the story. All wampums tell a story, and this tells the story of our family. So my sister is going to explain.
It's our family, and on this side are the children of my father and mother. Here is my Rose, symbol of a woman, which has 6 beads at the bottom, indicating her 6 children. Here are 3 lines coming up. This line here indicates that of our deceased brother Richard, our deceased sister Beverly Teresa, and our deceased sister Dalina Sylliboy. Here is our sister Joan, which has 7 children with 7 beads at the bottom. The next one is a symbol of my sister Wilma, which has 6 beads, indicating her 6 children. And guess who this is? Beach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Give them a 15. Our sister Melinda with 6 children. This is me with 4 children. This is our sister Janice with 3 children. And this is our sister Kathy with 2 children. In the middle, this indicates the spiritual journey of our loved ones, starting our first deceased sister, which was a baby and in infancy, our sister Beverly. The next was our brother Richard, and he had 4 children, and it's indicated in the bottom. Then our father, Nular Denny, then our sister who had 4 children, and then just recently our mom, who we just lost on September 6, 2002.
This is the first family wampum of its kind, and I'm sure Madonna would be more than willing to make other family wampums if you ask her. Now I would like to thank her publicly for the ingenuity and creativity that she has for creating such a beautiful memento of our family. Thank you very much, Madonna.
Thank you very much, Rose. Madonna, very impressive indeed. By now you must realize that I really don't have an official program and I'm just going along on a wing and a prayer. So at this time I'd like to call upon Chief Ben Sylliboy to say a few words.
Wapnalti'k, Phil, Chief Blair, Reverend, and Ken, I don't see him now, Ken Young, National Vice Chief. When I came here Wednesday night, I was really surprised to see a nice building, and the building was dedicated to Sarah Denny. With her known of the culture of the Micmacs. Amazing Nui Danasi. And my godfather, who was Sarah's husband, Nular. Those two couple meant a lot to me. And made a lot of friends. And they shared their culture with other peoples in other reserves. They weren't scared to show their cultures, even away from home in the white communities. Performing on TV. At the time, there were people that were ashamed to admit they were Indians, but not Nular or Sarah. They stand in the forefront, showing the culture, their fine arts, artwork, and they're sharing their experience with medicine. She had a lot of strength, and the family continues today, sharing and showing us our culture. All the girls and one boy each. They're performing all over the world now, I guess. Not just only in Canada, but overseas. They performed. And with that, I'd like to thank Madonna. When I first became Grand Chief, Madonna and Malbos made my outfit. I was really thankful, and I'm so proud of it. I seldom wear it. Scared it might get ruined. So I still have it at home. And if I ever die, that's what it's going with me. So I'm so proud of that. That's why I don't wear it too much. But one of these days I'll put it back on in the coffin. Now, before that, Wapnalti'k, and say a good prayer for Nular and Sarah in your prayers tonight. I always keep them in my mind. Wapnalti'k.
Wapnalti'k Amalkaltik. We also have a gift for the Grand Chief tonight. It's also one of those collector's items, owned by Rita Joe. We are the Dreamers. And it's also autographed by Rita Joe. To Grand Chief Ben Sylliboy, sincere wishes, Rita Joe. Like I said, she has a craft shop, so I had to buy some crafts. Once again, sincere thank you for Grand Chief for being here with us tonight. When I read the poem earlier by Rita Joe, it came from this passage here. This was handed to me earlier this evening by one of Sarah's daughters, Beverly. And she told me that she would like for me to read these passages. And it's also the background of her life, Sarah Denny. And I'm very touched and honored that she asked me to read this. The reason she gave me is kind of personal, but I'll go on a limb here and say it anyway. It's kind of difficult for Beverly and the rest of her family to read this, understandably so. So I thank you for asking me to read this. It's both an honor and a privilege. Sarah Denny, background of her life. Sarah Denny was born in 1925 and grew up on a Member 2 reserve in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Her mother died in Sarah's infancy, so Sarah was raised by her grandmother and her extended family. With her grandmother's influence, Sarah learned the Mi'kmaq dances, chants, herb medicines, and crafts. In her early teens, she joined other Member 2 residents in participating in a week of festivities honoring King George's visit in 1938. She married talented and handsome Nular Denny of Eskisoni. And together they had 12 children, 10 daughters and 2 sons. Family was the most important part of Sarah's life. She was hired late as a teacher aide at the Eskisoni Federal School and proceeded to upgrade through courses. She attended and completed an early childhood education course at the Centennial College of Applied Art and Technology in Toronto. In 1972, she received her certification as a classroom assistant from Seneca College in Toronto. The children love Mrs. Denny, and many students today have fond memories of their teacher they called Metateni. Thank you. Because they couldn't pronounce Mrs. Denny very well. Okay, I get it now. Sarah chose to continue to teach and to share her deep knowledge and understanding of Mi'kmaq way of life. Her career spanned over several generations and has impacted on all those generations in a significant way. A life-changing event occurred in her life in the early 70s. She speaks about how she was visited by the angel of death one night and was going to take her to the spirit world. She asked for more time on earth because her work was not done. She needed to teach our culture, songs, dances, traditions, and medicines to our people. She was granted that time on earth, and she fulfilled her promise above and beyond her call of duty. There is a CBC tape interview between Ruth Whitehead and Sarah titled Rocks and Bones, Atlantic Airways, where she discusses her dream of the angel of death. Later, she was hired as the first Mi'kmaq cultural officer by the newly organized Mi'kmaq Association for Cultural Studies in 1973, at a time when Mi'kmaq cultural traditions, customs, dances, chants were particularly non-existent in the 13 Mi'kmaq communities of Nova Scotia. People like Sarah Denny were considered the caretakers of our culture. And in many ways, she single-handedly brought back the Mi'kmaq way to their people. She started by creating a dance and chant group made up of her well-trained children who began to perform and help teach the ways to the people again. She developed the Elders Conference from which traditional knowledge was shared and recorded. She also set up dance and chant groups throughout the province and made authentic costumes out of leather, participated in major cultural events, and coordinated the opening of Jeux Canada Games held in Sydney, Nova Scotia in 1987. Her children and others formed the dance and chant group who performed and were televised nationwide. She maintained her energy, her youthful vigor, and pace to advance Mi'kmaq culture in all sectors of our society. Sarah Denny died in September 2002, just a few days short of her 77th birthday. Thousands of people attended her 3-day wake and funeral in Eskasoni, Nova Scotia. Hundreds walked her from her home to the church, as were her wishes, led by her 10 surviving children, singing, dancing, and crying as they led their mother to her final resting place. That's very special to me also. My oldest son is the great-grandson of Sarah Denny. So to me, we feel a part of the family too. Olalo. I had a request earlier from a gentleman from one of our nearby communities, Wapnalti'k, Chapel Island. He looked at me and said, "How tight is your agenda on time?" And I said, silently to myself, I was saying, "What agenda?" But anyway, I said, "We'll do it," because he had a request that he would like to speak from the Johnson side of Sarah's family from Chapel Island. So at this time, I'd like to call upon Danny to say a few words.
Thank you, Tex. Like Tex said, it's an honor and a privilege to be here, especially when such a cultural center is dedicated to your sister. And it is something that brings back to mind the dream of Sarah, to keep the culture, the language, the song, and the dance, to keep on. And through this center, maybe the people of Eskasoni will utilize it. And from our point of view, the Johnson side, we wish Chief Blair and his ongoing efforts to keep everything going to meet Maui. And I don't have enough fingers, but like my nieces, nephews, grandnieces, grandnephews, and so on, you know, they are forever going to carry on this tradition. That's the way I see it, because they seem to embrace it. It's their love like it was Sarah's love. And with that, and from our family, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Danny. We're in a bit of a dilemma right now. I've just been notified, as I've been reminded all evening, the National Chief, unfortunately, has a flight to catch. It's important for the National Chief, I believe, to return home to his territory to celebrate his birthday with his family. Among other things, that's the central thing. He has a flight to catch, so on behalf of the Chief and Council and the community and the Denny family, once again want to thank you for being here, and you're free to go. continuing on, just to acknowledge some members of Danny's family from Wapnalti'k that are here with us tonight. We have with us Cecilia Marshall, Jean Doucette, Barbara Johnson, Irene Johnson, Florence Johnson, and of course Danny. Welcome, and we're very glad that you're here with us tonight. One of the presentations that we will be making tonight are on behalf of the Chief and Council. And the first one will be made by Chief Blair Francis. This presentation is to the Denny family in memory of their mom, and it is a photo of our new cultural center. I believe the Chief wanted this, the larger photo, to go to the whole family, and they could place it where they gather on a continual basis. Wherever you have your family gatherings, we'd encourage you to place that photo. I'd also like to call upon our council members to come on up to make some presentations. Do you have any councilors? I saw Barry earlier. Barry? Nelson I saw here earlier. Is he still here? If we have any council members, Eskasoni Band councilors, the Chief and Council felt it necessary to provide gifts to each one, to give photos to each one of Sarah's children. And we'll start off with Mary Rose Julian. We have more work to do, Barry. If you're the only counselor that's here, you got a lot of work to do. 12 children. This photo we'd like to present on behalf of Richard Joseph Denny, a member of his family. If Kyle's here, or Charlotte, or Cheryl, or Linda, if any one of them are here. I guess none of those members are here at this time. So we'll put that aside, or Joel will accept on their behalf. Nular is coming up. Another of Sarah's children that's deceased, Beverly Teresa Denny, and this one we'd like to present to Vivian. Actually, Vivian gets two. So. Next we have, in memory of Delina Bridget Sylliboy. Is any of Delina's children here? Max? Come on up, Max. The son of Delina Sylliboy, Max. Joan Carolyn Denny. I hope you're not embarrassed if I say her middle name. Joan Carolyn Denny. Next one I'm proud to announce is a former co-worker of mine, Wilma Simon. Of course, I'm proud to announce all the names. I shouldn't have said that, I guess, but I have a special fondness for Wilma as we worked together for so long. And my current co-worker, I'm just working with Sarah's children all the time, so Joel Denny. And when I say I work with this family a lot, I do. Another co-worker, Melinda Ann Young. Another former co-worker, Beverly Jeddore. Janice Paul. As was mentioned, Sarah had 12 children. The last of the 12 was Kathy Denny. Thank you very much, Councillor Francis. I guess you could say Sarah had many, many children. But I'd just like to acknowledge that Shireen Young too. And I'd be remiss not to mention one of her foster children who's been here recently and is here again tonight with his wife. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting the gentleman, but I was told he's here. Mr. Frank Apel from British Columbia. Thank you very much for being here. Sarah Denny Memorial Center. Continuing on with the passage that Beverly asked me to read.